All right, we're back still with Learning Guide 3, continuing on. We're just about at the end. So now we are going to look at determining an equation of a polynomial function. So we sort of touched on it earlier, so I'll just go through it one more time so we got it. So the first thing we want to do, number one, first step, is find the x-intercepts and multiplicity. Okay, so let's look right here. So this one's going straight through, so we know at that point right there, which is this right here, it's a multiplicity 1. So I can write x plus 3 multiplicity 1. Okay, it's going through again right here at negative 1, and it's a multiplicity 1, so I can go x plus 1 multiplicity 1. Now it's coming down, the polynomial is coming up, it hits right there, and it comes right back down. So we know at that point it's a multiplicity of 2. It hits and then comes right back down. Okay, so we have the first step, the x-intercepts with its multiplicity. Now we're going to put an A in, put a Y in, and an equal sign. Now, we are going to use this y-intercept to find the leading coefficient A. So we're going to plug and chug. So remember, this is your y, this is your x. So it's negative 6 equals A bracket 0 plus 3, 0 plus 1, 0 minus 2 squared. All right, so now we're just going to do some arithmetic. So we know that this is 4, and that's 1, that's 3, and they're all timesing. So that's 12a equals negative 6. Divide by 12, divide by 12. So a is negative 1/2. Therefore, we have our equation. Y equals negative 1/2. And then we go x plus 3, x plus 1, and x minus 2 squared. So there's our answer. All right, so now we are going to go and draw. So the key thing here, when we have to sketch a polynomial function, we want to, again, first step, find the x-intercepts. Well, we know there's a factor, and there's a factor. So we know the x-intercepts are going to be 1, 0, that's this guy. The opposite of that is negative 2, 0. The opposite of that is negative 3, 0. So we can put those on. All right, so we have, I'm going to call that 1, that negative 1, that 2, that negative 2, that 3, that negative 3. Okay, so let's plot those. So 1, 0, we got a dot there, negative 2, dot, and negative 3, dot. All right, there's the first step. Now the second step. We want to look at the, if it's going to be going positive or negative leading coefficient. Well, if we look at this up here, we have an x times another x times another x. So we have x times x times x. Well, that's x cubed, and that's positive. So I know it's up here somewhere, going that direction. So I can sketch that guy in right there. Because remember, quadrant 1, if it's going up, quadrant 1, it's positive leading coefficient. Okay, so I know that for sure. So the other thing we want to do is find the constant, which is the y-intercept. Okay, well, to find the constant, we just look at the numbers in the bracket. So we have -1, +2, and -3. So we have -1 times 2 times 3. Well, that's -6. So I know at -6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know there's a dot right there. All right, so it's looking pretty good now. So now I can just sort of sketch. So I know it has to go through there and through there. So let's continue that up. So the graph is doing that. Now I know it has to curve and come back up because there's an intercept right there. And I know it has to curve again. So I'll make it curve because it has to come back through that guy. And there we go. So that would be our sketch of that function.